there, I'm Julie Broad with Revenue.com, and I've got another awesome real estate investing video tip for you today. All right, when you're out there raising money, especially if you're raising money for joint venture partnerships like we do, where we're looking for somebody who's going to put up the initial investment capital for the down payment and potentially some renovations. And we're going to split that deal 50-50 because Dave and I are going to do all the work. We've already put in a ton of time, effort, and energy in becoming area experts to find fantastic deals and to know exactly what our ideal tenants are looking for in a property. And then going forward, we're going to oversee that property and that rental to ensure that it makes the most money possible. And in exchange, we're splitting that deal 50-50. Any expenses that have to come out later on, we split 50-50, as well as the profits. So if that's the kind of deals you're raising money for, then you might get one of these objections as well. And the other ones might come in if you're raising private money, RSP mortgages, or any other kind of funds that you might be looking for your deals. So here's 3 of the most common objections that you might encounter when raising money for your deals. First of all, is that fair? That's often what you might hear. Listen, I'm putting in all the money and you're getting half the deal. Is that really fair? Well, there's lots of ways to tackle this one. But one of my favorites, if you've done our 7-step process, which we'll cover in another video, as well as in our workshops and raising money training that we offer. But if you've done that process, then you've done some screening and you've been asking questions to understand if they're a fit for what you offer. And usually one of the steps in that process is to understand the kind of returns they're looking for. So in this case, if I get this question, I'm going to say, well, you know what? At the start of this conversation, you said you'd be happy with an 8% per year return, and the returns that we're looking at are substantially higher than that. Are you no longer happy with that kind of return? Right? So take the emphasis off the equity split and put it back on what ultimately is important for this person, which is the return they're getting on their hard-earned dollars. Right? Another objection that you might get is now a good time. I think prices could go down. Now, a lot of people, because they've done their market research, right? They've become the expert. Their inclination is to now try and convince this person that everything's good, right? You might start talking about population growth, job growth, and why prices aren't going to go down. The reality is that is not going to address this concern. And in fact, you may open up a whole new can of worms that you weren't expecting. So instead of immediately answering, I suggest that you go, you know, that could happen, but I'm just wondering, did you read that somewhere? And just pause and let them see what they say. And you might find out they've read it in a Money Sense issue that said Canadian housing is going to crash. And you can alleviate their concerns by explaining that Canada is a big market and your particular area has a great future. All right, number 3. This sounds good, but I want to think it over. It might not sound like an objection. I mean, in our case, we're looking for people who are going to be putting in $80,000, $90,000. So it makes sense that they want to think it over. However, I need to think it over really is unstated objections. So if you get that, then you need to say, you know what? It's a very important decision. I think that's a great idea. Do you mind me asking what specifically you're going to think over? And that allows you to open the door and find out just a little bit more about what's going on inside of their head and pull out any objections that they maybe haven't voiced yet. All right, that's just 3 of quite a few objections that you just might encounter, but those are 3 of the most common. So hopefully that helps you when you go out there to raise money for your deals or for your renovations or whatever it is you need to grow your real estate portfolio. If you've got a question, post it here. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead, type it in there. You can reach me on Twitter @Revenue or Facebook page, and I'd love to answer your questions. All right, thanks, see you again.